Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday night, 7 p.m. You know what that means. Outlawed Live. Myself, Ron Stone, and Mike Idle. Mike, how you doing tonight?
Excellent, Ron. How's everything in Kansas this evening?
Great. About half rested up from last week.
Right. That was a road trip, buddy. That one tested our stamina.
Yeah, that one was pretty rough. Yeah, you know, the couple of them weren't that bad, but the one from Mobile down to Mound City kind of took it out of me after three nights already. But I was ready for a little bit of a break. So, but we got to get rested up because we got another huge week. That week leads directly into another even bigger week.
Massive week. So
yeah, we're
having fun though. We're having fun. You know, no rest for the wicked, but it's awesome.
Headed into the belly of the beast, if you will, here
there you
this
go.
week. We start Thursday night. I should say you start Thursday night in Weeping Water, Nebraska. Have you ever been to Weeping Water?
I have not. I've been to West Point. I saw a nice little detour in West Point. I'll be there on Friday, but never been to Weeping Water. So very excited to be there for the first time.
You get Weeping Water, West Point, Thursday night, Weeping Water, Friday night, West Point. West Point going to 2 tracks this year, 2 sleds. That's exciting. Watch that pool grow over the past 3 or 4 years, Mike. They moved the track to a really cool facility, and it was like, wait, you got room for 2 tracks. And last year and the year before, the number of hooks we had, really, we should have been using 2 tracks. So you're going 2 tracks this year, and you're going to be announcing it. So I'm sure
gonna have to have my head on a swivel, and in preparation for that, I tried to pay extra attention to your style on Friday night in Gibbon, because I've not seen a setup where a single announcer runs 2 tracks at the same time. So I was kind of learning and listening with one ear and running the camera with the other. But I tell you what, it seems like it's a style where you blink and it's 10:30, because, you know, when you're calling 2 of them, I bet the show moves pretty quickly.
Yeah, if it's moving quick, you're going to be busy. You're going to be busy. Don't ride your ATV up into town, Mike, there at West Point. Just saying.
Oh, okay. Okay. That is something they pay a little extra close attention to, is what you're telling me?
Yeah. I thought they were going to throw me into pokey there a couple of years ago. We're riding up to Casey's.
Where's our announcer? We're running late. Oh, our announcer's in jail.
Exactly what it got to. I actually had a puller, Jared Johansson, bring me a helmet so he would let me go.
It's because you didn't. So you had to put on. So please tell me it was Jared's actual pulling helmet that
it
you
was.
left.
It was. Yeah. And well, actually, they require you to have a permit and a helmet. So
yeah,
if you don't have, he was going to make me have somebody come pick it up with a truck. So, but
and you're probably 3/4 of a mile from the track.
Yeah,
you could probably put it in neutral and push it back.
Like, the track's just right down there where I'm going. He's like, okay. So you're going to Weeping Water Thursday, West Point Friday. We're pulling in De Leon, Texas Friday, 2 night, Friday and Saturday, and also Washington, Missouri, Friday and Saturday as well. So 6 sessions of pulling
in
3
days. Yeah. What more could you want? What more could you really want? This is going to be one of those fun opportunities where you could set up multiple television screens and have your outlawpulling.tv. You just be like you're at a sports bar at home and just have all of them. So we have 3 going on Friday night, 3 simultaneous national level Thunder in the Dirt points events on Friday. That's
what more could you want?
That gives me goosebumps.
How about 5 consecutive days of pulling starting on Tuesday?
That's fun too. And it's not nothing against any pulls, but 5 big time, 5 big heavy hitting sessions between the Iowa State Fair and then Thunder by the River.
Yeah, that starts a week from tonight, and we go through Saturday next week. 2 days at Iowa State Fair, then 3 nights at Thunder by the River in Wisner, Nebraska. Then you know what it kind of slows down a little bit, and we kind of get back to a normal pace where it's a Saturday here and a Friday, Saturday there, and we get Labor Day off after Wisner and the Iowa State Fair, after Madison. Madison is the weekend after Wisner, and then we get a weekend off.
Except this would be wonderful, Ron. I would be sitting here just, throwing my hands in the air. But that is exactly when I have to go back to the teaching job, the Tuesday after. So the minute that we're like, oh, we get some time off, I have an actual career job I'd forgotten about, but they've been, knocking on the door. And so, we're gonna supplement our weekends off of pulling with lesson planning.
Don't want to forget about that. But you were at every pull this past week, as I was. You were running a camera. Anything stand out in your mind from the 4 straight days of pulling?
Yeah, there was a couple things that I like to see. 2 second place finishes I'd like to call attention to, and then I always kind of like to just look at the tracks and see what they have to offer. But Ryan Boyson picked up a really nice second place finish in Gibbon, Nebraska, on a very deceiving and challenging track in a class that's been hard. Anytime you've got Corey Schluter and you've got Mark Ulmer pulling up there, to be in the top 2 is hard to do. So I thought he had a nice run. And Roper Brown in the Pro Stock 4-wheel drive trucks picking up a second place finish in Mound City, Kansas. A young man who's still learning a lot in the seat. And one of the pulls is going to be closer to home for him. So I thought that was a big building block in what his career is going to look like. So both those runs, tip my cap to them. Geiger, I guess another one out there. Garrett Geiger, massive pass in Scribner. Is he a rookie? I think he's a rookie, isn't he?
Garrett, I can't remember if he pulled last year or not, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. But that thing, I think his dad or someone got the win with it up in Lee, and then he got the win with it in Scribner. So, anytime you can repeat results, you realize it's not a fluke. And that was a big pass he had this weekend. So
some things that stood out to me were the close finishes.
For sure.
At Scribner on Thursday night, Super Farm class.
Super Farms.
The top 5 tractors were within 9 inches. From 1st to 5th, there was 9 inches, and the other 3 were in between there. So they all finished at 326 point something, those top 5. Actually, it was like 8 and
49.64, because I quoted this. Yes, you figured it out, because I quoted it on one of my live streams this week. You were sitting up there in the announcer's booth and, doing like all your math skills. You're like, oh, that's 49.64 of an inch. And I said, I don't use that line on the tape measure very often, buddy.
Yeah, those are too small. You need your reading glasses for those 64s. 8 and 9/64 was the difference between 1st and 5th in Super Farm at Scribner. Then the next night at Gibbon, the Pro Stock 4-wheel drive class, the difference was 15/64 between 1st and 2nd.
Philip Chrysler, did Phil Chrysler win that night?
Yes.
And then who walked away in 2nd that evening?
I think it was Marty Selman.
Oh yeah. That poor guy. He's got, he's probably got more silver trophies than any other puller I know. I mean, he is the king of that, but he'll win with the best of them. But yeah, if someone's going to be in 2nd, you can almost guarantee you that's who was kicking on the door.
Yeah, 359.38 to 359.40. So 200ths of a foot equivalates to 15/64. 16/64 is a quarter of an inch. So it is 1/64 smaller than a quarter. So it's kind of crazy to think they pulled the sled 359 feet, and it was determined by that much.
That always floors me when I hear that. And of course, you can never know as a driver, but you just think, surely I could have pushed the equipment, because I feel like a lot of time they get out of the throttle when they know their equipment is at the end of what it can handle. It's not so much the flagman or the track. It's this vehicle is now communicating to me it's had its limit. And you would that much, you would say, well, I could have bent the throttle for that much more, but how would you know when it's pulling? We had an inbox. Someone had messaged the Outlaw inbox, and you or Jason or someone responded to them actually asking about that run. And they said, when it's that close, how do you actually know? And they were observant. They said, we noticed that your sleds aren't using a laser system. And whoever responded said, no, we're actually using a GPS, a global position tracking system. And there's not a doubt in my mind, it is that accurate. It's remarkable to think about.
Yeah, and we actually tested that system for a full season with the laser, Mike, before we went to that, to make sure it was going to be accurate. And it proved to be as accurate, if not more accurate, than the laser was. So, because basically you're trying to, the laser, let's put it this way, the laser is accurate, but you have a red square on the back of the cab of that sled, okay?
Yeah.
And when you're trying to point the laser at that square, and I've ran the laser before, what if the cab of the sled is turned sideways just a little bit?
I say if you get this, and then you've
you're
just got
closer here than you are over there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to think about that. That's the GPS takes any human element out of it. So
A to B, to B. How far? Yeah. On that track did you go? So in truth be told, it should be more accurate than the laser.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to argue about that, just send in.
Going back to the stick and string and going down to those 64th ticks on the tape measure.
So we tested that for a whole season. We got some people chiming in.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah, we got an active comment section tonight.
Robert Miner, hello from Niobrara, Nebraska. Thanks for tuning in. Parade Alley Party. Okay, this is
our Bowling Green. This is our Bowling Green enthusiast.
And he does say 3 more YouTube name changes coming. Noah Mars. How does that work with classes bowling in 2 places on the same night? Now, I'm assuming he's referring to points. If it's same classes, and we do have that happening. Happens a couple times this year. It is happening this week in 2-wheel drive and mod tractors. Simply, whatever you finish there, if you finish that and you finish first in Texas, and another tractor finishes first, you both get 28 points.
I had a good conversation in the motorhome with my traveling crew this weekend, and we wondered, the majority of the modified pullers are going to be closer to Washington, Missouri, which is going to leave points to be scooped up off the table in Texas.
Right.
Let's say you're a Wayne Longnecker, right in the thick of things. Would you be tempted to go down to Texas where you're arguably more likely due to less? I mean, will it shake up where we see people go is all I'm trying to say. Will they allow that to factor into where they end up hooking?
And it could come down to a decision like that, where you think, well, I think I can go there and have a better chance of picking up more points. The miles may come into play, in their minds too. Is it really worth it?
Yeah.
But I will tell you, this is the only time that those 2 pulls are going to fall on top of each other. It is leap year. Some strange things like that do happen.
Yeah.
We were going to have the same issue with Macon. Macon canceled, but Macon was scheduled for this Saturday night. But in rodeos they do it. Where they have 2 rodeos in the same night and they're competing for the same points, and it's all up to the riders which one they want to go to. They're going to go to the one closer. They're going to go to the one where they think they have a better chance of winning. So it leaves some of that there on the table to, leaves it up to the puller to decide.
It's a fun wrinkle. I mean, you can spin it. It's another one of those. How are you going to play it? How are you going to make your decision? I think we had the same thing happen with the LLPs in Flat City and Lamar's. Yeah, I couldn't remember where I was, but I pulled up the results where you were, and I was like, wait a minute. Because the majority of the LLPs that I was familiar seeing were up there with Lamar's with us. But there was a full field of them down in Missouri that we see from time to time that picked up some points too. So it happens from time to time. It's a neat wrinkle.
Austin says Super Farm class of Scribner was on fire. It was pretty full house there. That's something that gets me this year. I've seen, the stands are full.
Yes, everywhere we go, the crowds have been awesome.
And it's been hot. And people are coming. Cole Lundall says hello from Wakefield, Nebraska. Thanks for tuning in, Cole, and putting pictures up and posts on Facebook all the time. Marty says great pull and Gibbon, another great singing of the anthem. Well, they didn't have anybody, Marty, so they were stuck with me, buddy, and they were going to play a
CD. I think they literally said they had a CD. I think they said we have a CD ready to go. And you were like, I got it. The young lady who sang in Mound City, Kansas put on a really nice rendition as well. I thought she was good.
Megan Engelmeyer says, hometown pool Friday night. Can't wait. It's supposed to be beautiful weather. It is supposed to be, wow, it's supposed to be in like the 70s this weekend for a high. So it might get a little chilly. You might want to get your Outlaw hoodie on this weekend up there, Mike.
Got it ready to go.
Yeah. So there we got everybody taken care of there so far on comments. It is about, let's see what time. Let's go ahead and see if Lester's there. We got Lester Holtmeyer from the Washington Town and Country Fair, Mike. We're going to go to Lester here in just a second after this message. Sure, you enter that contest, the 2024 Superfan Contest, sponsored by Case IH. Somebody's going to win that tractor, Mike, in October. I hope you're telling like friends and stuff. Hey, don't pass up on the
word. Don't forget about the Case IH Superfan Experience 25 SC subcompact tractor. Enter up to 6 times for your chance. That's one of those, you read that one enough times and that one starts getting burned into your brain by the end of the year too.
Yeah. You can't win it if you don't play. And you know what? Some outlaw super fan out there is going to win it. So may as well be you out there.
Yep.
So
enter and win, folks. Enter and win. Outlawpulling.com.
Let's see if we can get Lester on here. Lester, are you there?
Yeah, sure am. Yep, I'm here.
Good deal. Lester Holtmeyer. He's with the Washington Town and Country Fair in Washington, Missouri. Did I get all that correct, Lester?
That is correct. Yep.
Are you out at the track working right now?
Yeah, actually, we just finished rolling it in tonight, getting ready to set up for the bull riding for tomorrow night.
Okay. Now you don't have any video going right now. That they say you don't have a face for radio, do you?
Well, I can put me on. You can get my mouth.
There he is.
Oh, wow.
He's real. He exists. Welcome to the podcast.
I was going to say, because Mike and I have faces for radio. We just said the heck with it. We don't care. We're just going to go ahead and do it anyway. So what time do things kick off on Friday night for us?
What time? We start at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. What time do the gates open into the arena there?
You can get in anytime, all day long. The back gates will be open.
So does it cost more to get into the pool, or is it just a one gate thing, or?
It's $45 to get in.
That's for the pool?
No, you pay one fee, you get in for the whole fair.
Okay.
All the carny rides, the concerts, everything. It's one fee. You pay.
I did see you had Travis Tritt, TT there on Saturday night.
Adam Rainwright and Nico Moon coming in.
Yep. Travis Tritt, I'm a fan. Yeah, that's from my era there. That's from the late 80s, early 90s. That's right there in my wheelhouse. Travis Tritt.
Ron, how many Travis Tritt songs do you cover when you're singing out in the off season?
Oh, regularly a couple, two to three.
Great Day to Be Alive.
No, I don't do that one.
Oh man, that's probably the only one I know.
Well, I go back a little further than that, Mike. So I go back to his first couple albums so gates open whenever. They're just open. Do you have a lot of people that claim their seats early?
Yeah, the 300-foot mark's kind of hard to get.
Sure. Okay.
How do they claim their spots there? They tape blankets to the bleachers or what?
Yeah, blankets and everybody comes early. I mean,
I've heard this place, you guys really pack them in there. Is that true?
Yes, we do. Last year was probably one of the records and the worst year we had with the rain and everything, but it was a record year with people on the grounds.
Well, Mike and I were just talking about the weather is really supposed to get mild here this weekend. That's going to play right into our hands too.
Yeah, I looked at it a while ago. I think they're looking like 59.
59.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
The methanol burners will be breathing. You're going to see some big. You got some smoke blowers and you got some noise boys. Those 2-wheel drives might get out. They get to breathing in that cooler air. You're going to see some big distances.
Yeah. We need to change things up here. We want a little bit more noise down here in this motorsport.
Man, if it gets that cool, the alcohol burners may have to put some heaters on those things. to keep them warm, for crying out loud. But
Yeah, we
no,
want to make Travis Tritt knows that we're down here.
what's that?
We want to make sure Travis Tritt knows we're down here in motorsports.
Oh, he's going to know
Yeah,
we're
he's
there.
gonna hear it.
He's going to know. He's going to know.
Yeah.
So how does that work? The concert starts after the pull, or is there a specific time for the concert?
No, the concert's going to start at 8:00.
Oh, okay.
We have two different stages going on then.
Oh yeah.
So for $45, you can watch an outlaw truck and tractor pull and bounce back and forth between the Travis Tritt concert.
Yep, free.
Yeah,
Just straight across the grounds.
that's awesome. Neat. That's really cool.
And then all the carnival rides are free to the kids. So
awesome. See, now that's something too. You're running two tracks because it's a co-sanctioned event. It's the ITPA, the Illinois Tractor Pullers Association, and the Outlaws pulling on two tracks there Friday and Saturday night. It's going to be a big show.
Yeah, we got mini rod sled. Bungard's just brought the mini rod sled in just about 10 minutes ago. We got the light modifieds, the light super stocks, the 4-wheel drive trucks, the heavy super stocks, ITPA, and the limited pros, the 9,500 limited pros.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a groundbreaker down here.
Yeah,
that'll be a big show with both organizations.
We're going to have the 7,400 mods, the super mod 2-wheel drives, the pro stocks, the 10 pros, and the 20,000 pound pro semis over there as well.
Everybody's excited about the semis.
Oh, people love those semis wherever we go,
Lester. As they should be. There's something neat to see.
Yep.
So I hear that there's one ITPA tractor that they actually have a points hook somewhere else for that class that night. But one of their mods is going to come down and pull with us. It's a new mod called Hush Money. It's going to come. So they want to come pull with, play with the Outlaws is what basically.
All right.
So that's going to be cool. And some 2-wheel drives. We're getting a bunch of 2-wheel drives signed up already. I'm hearing some guys that are coming that I haven't seen in a little while since earlier in the summer. So
if you dip into any of the ITPA 2-wheel drives too, there's a lot of competitive iron. That's when I hear ITPA 2-wheel drives is kind of what comes to my mind. So that could be a really fun time for a measuring stick for both associations if they want to come and hop into our division for that night.
Yeah. So what is the fair known for there? Is it the food? Is it the atmosphere? What's something unique about the Town and Country Fair there?
I would say the atmosphere. It's just right off Missouri River. I mean, it's just a good time. Music. I mean, it's we not only got the main entertainment, we got entertainment tents playing local bands all day long. I mean, we got livestock shows tomorrow.
The entertainment tents, are those like beer gardens?
Oh yeah.
People go and drink.
We're known for a lot of beer drinking down here.
So it's kind of like the state fair almost, where you have the different tents playing music, and
I would say we're probably the third biggest fair in the state of Missouri.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we had Alabama here. I think we had right at 17,000 people on the grounds.
Wow.
So we got a really good facility. Everybody, I mean, the town, puts their heart and soul into what we got here. So it really makes it happen.
So I understand you've kind of revamped your pit area and everything down there, Lester?
Yep. After last year's mass chaos, we had got a bunch of millings hauled in back here where the wet spots was back here. So the whole back area behind the announcer stand, everything's all millings now. Well, we still got our ball diamond out there to the south, but that's always the hardest part of the grounds when it gets. So we have no problem with parking this year.
Okay, and I'll get with you here tomorrow or something, and you can get me a map of the best way to get in there to get to the pit gate, and I'll put that on social media.
Yeah, the pit gates. I mean, just head west of town, and you just follow the signs where it says pits, and it'll bring you right on into the fair.
Awesome. You have signs up everywhere.
That sign bringing way from Highway 100 all the way into the fair.
Super helpful.
Just go straight through town, and the west side of town is bring you right into the back side of the fair.
Super helpful when promoters do that. We appreciate that.
Yeah. And we let on the road corners directing traffic, because the semis, they're long, and other cars, they don't want to give you an inch. So we got every corner, we got somebody directing stuff, people in, just make it work.
I've been there, done that. I'm not going to mention where I was at, but I got into the spectator gate because the pit gate wasn't. It wasn't marked from the end of town that I was coming in. It was marked on the other end. And once I got in there, it was like a 50-point turn getting. I was in the motorhome you're driving, Mike, pulling. A 24-foot trailer, and I was in the spectator spot, and it was a little.
You saw funny. What I accomplished or unaccomplished this last pull we were at, so
we don't have to talk about that, Mike.
Good clear signs telling you go this way are very appreciated when you're in long vehicles.
The boss is watching, Mike. You don't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
So pull starts at 7 p.m. Friday night and Saturday night. Gates are open all day long. You can go pick out your seat if it hasn't been picked out already. Friday or Saturday.
I sent you some pictures of the grounds, our layout, didn't I?
Yep, you did. I was fighting with my phone a little bit trying to get that stuff. I got to get my screen replaced on my phone, and I may be able to get a couple of those on here before the end of the show, actually. So I did get them sent to myself. So anything else you want to add about the pull, Lester? Anything that?
No, it's
folk out there need to know.
The track, we like I said, we cut her open last night. We've had lots of rain here in July. We aired her out, and I think it's working good. So, we got events every night at the fair here, so the track changes every night.
Right.
Full ride, cross, monster trucks to motocross. So.
I saw that on the schedule. You got a lot of stuff going on. Do you sell beer there at the grandstand or?
Oh yeah. They got beer stands on the back of the pit side. And then on the bleacher side, there's a bleacher beer.
Cause that question usually pops up here when we're talking to a promoter is what's the beer policy? Can we bring coolers in? What have you? So
yeah, you guys, the haulers are on the road. So,
Well, look at here. What, Dylan Dirks, what's the best route for a puller to get into the fairgrounds? So it's been a couple years.
Turn into ZX State gas station west of town. Follow the signs.
There you go. It's like any Missouri show we've been to this year. It's bound to be a packed house, regardless of the area and classes. We're expecting a packed house there.
Yeah,
Dylan. So.
Yeah. I am really excited. I mean, the change is good, and I think it's going to be great.
I think it's going to be a great show.
Yeah. With all the iron we got coming, I think it's going to turn out real good.
Now, do you have any unique foods down there at Lester? Sometimes we get to these different pulls, and you get like pork chop in a glove or pork chop on a stick or stuff like that. Anything unique there?
I really don't venture up that way much. Up down here. I really
It's rare, but if we get done early enough, I'll venture into the Midway to get some fair food. I got to have a funnel cake or something like that, or a corn dog every once in a while.
I encourage the pullers to go to walk the grounds and check it out because there's a lot to see here in Washington.
Puller, they bring families, and the kids like to get out into the fair. So
yeah, especially when it's free.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lester, we're going to let you get back to work.
All right, sounds good.
7 p.m. Saturday night, 7 p.m. Washington, Missouri, Washington Country Fair, co-sanctioned event with Outlaws and the Illinois Tractor Pullers Association. 2 tracks and way more action. So it's going to be an awesome show.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you much.
Thanks, Lester. We'll see you Friday, buddy.
Yep.
Lester Holtmeyer from Town and Country Fair in Washington, Missouri. Go ahead, Mike.
That's a big fair. I didn't realize when he's talking about that. Fans, be sure to get out to that one because that sounds like a great time all the way around. Come early, stay late, and enjoy everything it has to offer, but especially enjoy the tractor pulling scene.
Dylan asked if any outlaw 4-wheel drives are coming down to pull. I don't know.
With the ITPA side, that's an interesting question. So I'd kicked around the idea: will we see ITPA 2-wheel drives come and play with us?
Mm-hmm.
Will we see outlaw 4-wheel drives go pull with ITPA?
Kick that right back to Dylan. Do you know of any ITPA 2-wheel drives coming to play?
That's what we'd love. We can work out an arrangement right here on Outlawed Live. You bring us 5, and you drum up 5 to send to you. The Ritters wouldn't be far from Washington. The Ritters, that would be like an hour tops. So
It would surprise me if we saw the Ritters show up. I was thinking that too from Herman.
They would be close. But some of our other guys, a lot of our 4-wheel drive guys are up into Iowa.
How about the fired up?
The old Lewis body shop right here. Yeah. See how I've been subliminally trying to, get the Lewis team to associate with the Outlaws. I would not be surprised to see Cody and Cruz and family come down. I don't know. Well, we might have to do one of those like what is the no practice guys do where they do the impromptu phone call? I'd have to call Cody and say, hey, are you pulling in Washington with the ITPA/Outlaws? So
they love that, I'm sure, when the impromptu phone call. But yeah, I think those two guys are definitely a possibility. You never know. Joe Claypool is potential also.
Well, he hurt the truck in Rock Valley, didn't he? We haven't seen Joe out since Rock Valley, and I don't know the official story. Last I saw, they pulled him off the track, and Ron, have we seen him since Rock Valley?
Good question.
I don't think we have. I think he hurt something. I think he hurt something there, and just hasn't been back yet since. So, but no, Missouri. Well, you got the Browns down in Seneca. I guess that wouldn't be insanely
kind of a haul for them, but
3 hours, 4 hours. So
the only thing that might dissuade a team from coming would be the Iowa State Fairs Tuesday, Wednesday. If they tear something up Saturday night. But speaking of the Ritters, congrats to them on their first win of the season.
Yes, absolutely. That's one that's been due. That dog has been barking at that back door all year long, and we both knew it was just a matter of time till those stars aligned.
Yeah, they had a good run. Still don't know the cubic inch of the motor, but I'm guessing it's over 800, Mike.
I'm gonna go ahead and wager on that as well.
So they like keeping that in their hip pocket, but I really think they. Fred, I think he means Fred Blue. No, I don't think they do. Matter of fact, I bet they still have the trucks, but haven't seen them out in a long time.
Are these the ones from Rolla? Was this the two blue Fords from down there?
Yeah, was it the Ultimate Weapon?
The Ultimate Weapon and Lethal Weapon. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen or heard anything from them in a long time, Robert.
Mm-hmm.
So. Mike, what time is it? Wow, it's 7:35 already.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go through some points things here with this Holganix Midwest Summer Sweep.
Yes.
Of course, there is the original ad for it. Brought to you by Holganix Midwest. $50,000 up for grabs between 11 classes, 18 different cities. There's the classes involved. Here are the cities. You can see we go all the way into early September, which, Mike, that's going to be here. I mean, 1 month? One month is Unionville.
We've got some of them. You informed me. We've got some of them wrapping up their points chase on Friday in West Point, don't we?
Yep. You're going to be there.
It got late in a hurry, my friend.
Yep, right there. Look, that's that class right there will be done after West Point in the summer sweep. With Holganix Midwest, look at all these pulls that have already happened for them.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like we were just in Norfolk.
No kidding. I mean, it's gone fast.
Let's go ahead and check that one. Update on the points there. Matt
Phelps having a good season,
and the dirt that was still up for grabs there, especially between those two. I mean, 3 points. The Black Sheep is back on the track. I talked to Jerry Chrysler on Sunday, and he said, they tore something up in the transmission and tore up the drive line in it, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. But that's what took them out of the points race there, at least as far as the sweep goes. I mean, technically they're not that far back, but they can't recover that in one event unless no one else showed up. Just decided not to come.
If they were about the only ones pulling, mathematically possible, but not likely.
Yeah, it would take those top 3 guys just not.
Is he going to campaign? I'm going to read way too much. You know how like in college football, but they make the way too early for next season prediction. So I'm going to read way too much into something I saw on Sunday. Will he be campaigning 2 trucks next year?
I'm not so sure they won't be campaigning 2 trucks the rest of the season.
Oh, even more cool. So the pit bull is what, and your MSTPA background brought me up to speed kind of quickly. So that truck's called the pit bull, and they're going to be running both of them now. Is that the developed story?
Yeah, they got that truck back together. So all new chassis with the same sheet metal or fiberglass, if you will, that the old pit bull used to run, and hadn't seen the pit bull out in years. Actually, a funny story. This was 2002. I was living down in Hamilton, Kansas, having a little benefit pull for the local fire department that we put together down there, just a brush pull, and I get this call, and this is before really anybody was doing anything on the internet, social media, anything like that for pulling. And I get a call, he heard from the grapevine from Bill Oberste. Want to know if they could bring 2 two-wheel drives over. One was one bad dog, and one was the pit bull. And I told him, we couldn't afford to pay him anything, and he said, "Oh, that's all right. We just want to come pull." And they came over there, and Bill Oberste, one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. They came over 2 or 3 years in a row to that event just to hook. I think that pull was in October, and they had nothing going on. It was him and Danny Teeter and Brad Teeter. And actually, Brad, that was the first time I let him have a microphone there. And it was a year or 2 after that, when he was out of high school, that he started announcing for MSTPA. So just kind of funny how those things come back around.
Yeah.
The pit bull is back out. They had a test hook with it Sunday at Mound City, Kansas, and I'm betting we'll see it this year too.
That would be, now, is it a Ford motor?
It has a big block Chevy on it.
It's
big
got
block
the
Chevy, single carburetor. So
it's not. So the black sheep remains the only black sheep of the family.
Yeah, of the Chrysler family. Yeah, the only Ford in there. So.
No.
Let's look back here at other results. Light Limited Pro was the only other class that competed in the sweep, and that was at Mobile over this past weekend. You can see that Brady Gosser now has a pretty comfortable,
very firm lead on that one.
Cushion there.
Yeah. Yep.
Because the dirt slinging demonstrator was up here in second, but spare time, he was peaking at all the pulls in the sweep. So, same deal there. He would literally have to sit the next one out before anybody could catch
the demonstrator didn't. If my memory's right, did he hook in Mobile, or did we not see him?
He did not.
I was gonna say he wasn't there. That's what I thought. So
he was in second going into Mobile, and he did not come to Mobile. So.
Yep. That's what I felt had happened. So
there's another story to be told there too. Al Ferguson at Gibbon comes out, drives 2 Light Limited Pros. He drives the Fuzz Duck.
Yeah.
Never Say Never, and he gets second and third with the 2 tractors, and he's a 4-wheel drive.
Sat 1 and 2 for a long time. He's a hired gun. Go campaign this because I want to sell the damn thing. And he drives it great all season long. And then he was a fill-in driver on Molly Edmeister's tractor and had those dog on a very, very deceiving track. He just read that track really well and had those things parked 1 and 2 for quite a while before relinquishing and finishing second and third. So he's going to sell. He's going to decide that he really likes driving these tractors. So
he might just sell the old pickup and buy the Fuzz.
Yeah.
So want to encourage pullers to get signed up for the pulls this weekend: Weeping Water, West Point, De Leon, and Washington, as well as the Iowa State Fair. Iowa State Fair is open for signups. Get signed up Tuesday and Wednesday. And Wisner. Signups are, I think, open for Wisner now as well. So there are some instructions out on the website, the Outlaw Pulling website. About the Iowa Fair gate. If you have any questions about the gate, and I think Jason posted that information on Facebook today as well.
I fielded some questions in the inbox today, and basically comes down to do we have to have a fair pass? And there's a lot of where they want you to pull in and pull out of and what gate and when you get in there. But the big one is, do we have to have a fair pass to get into the pits? And it looks like when you boil it right down to the guts of that answer, I think the answer is yes. I think you do have to have a fair pass to be in those pits back there.
Yeah. And there is a way to get in on Monday. I think they just don't put you in the pit area just yet. They have a holding parking lot you have to pull into. So, I mean, it is what it is. Full pull picks right now saying they're going to be in Weeping Water, De Leon, and West Point. Haven't heard anything about Washington yet, but they will be saying in De Leon. I took notes today, Mike. I had a lot of stuff to talk about.
Got your memorandum written down.
Light limited pro, let's see, after Gibbon and light limited pro after Mobile, we did that. And I wanted to look at those schedules for those classes as well.
I was curious as to when the LLPs and some of those others after the two-wheel drives, the mod two-wheel drives, when do they wrap everything up?
LLP, don't ask me how this happened, how that August 3rd got at the bottom, but you can see LLPs next week is it for that class, light limited pros. They hook August 13th and then the 15th and 16th in Wisner. So Iowa State Fair and Wisner, and that one's done next week.
I took a glance at that and I was like, oh, we missed one. They're already done. But no, they're not already done. The date's just it's just hanging out at the bottom.
And then let's see, Pro Stock 4x4, same deal. Iowa State Fair and Wisner next week, and that sweep is over for Pro Stock 4x4. Light Super Stock Ag, same thing. Iowa State Fair, Wisner. Let's see, Super Farm, same deal.
I bet that one's tight. I bet the point races in that one are very close.
I think those are the four that are done next week. The rest, let's see, limited pro stock is Iowa State Fair, Unionville, the last two for that class. And limited pro stock, and the 540 light pros. You see there, they go to Madison, South Dakota, weekend after next, and then weekend off, and then they're in Unionville after Friday after Labor Day.
That's almost their national point schedule, their Case IH national point schedule as well. They didn't have a massive number of hooks this year, right. So that's going to mirror their regular schedule pretty closely, I bet.
But the class is ending in Unionville, two-wheel drive, super modified two-wheel drive. There'll be Iowa State Fair, Wisner, and Unionville. It's 3 events, but that's 4 hooks for them. Iowa State Fair is 1 hook. Wisner is the average of 2 hooks at Wisner, and Unionville there on September 6th. Modified tractors, 7,400 modified tractors, same deal.
Yeah, I imagine they're going to be the same.
Exact schedules of 2-wheel drives. Iowa State Fair, Wisner, Unionville, and light super stocks, Alki Supers. They'll be at the Iowa State Fair and Wayne as well. That's Super Stock Ag, isn't it? So let me get the right one here. There is a difference.
And you got to be careful calling them the Alki Supers this year, because the Weapon has played its full season in that light super stock class. So there's a greaser in there as well.
Yeah, the light supers, Iowa State Fair, Wisner, and Unionville. That pretty much covers all of the sweep updates here. Of course, the numbers in all but those 2 classes hadn't changed because the other classes hadn't pulled over the last week. But we can look at their points up to this point anyway. Mods, Cotton Candy is in the lead there. That could all change after next week.
Yes, it very easily could.
So he has a 5 or 4.5 point lead over Turbinator. That's not much.
Also interesting, because I think if you look on the app, this is a fun one where they are going to look fairly different compared to their national standings and their sweep standings. Turbinator, he's in a really good position to come away with a championship here. I don't know if he's quite so close in the national point standings, but that's summer sweep, so that could be kind of interesting. That puts him very much within striking distance.
Yeah, I mean he's won one event, but he's been pretty consistent. He hasn't
Yeah.
fallen off. So you can see how close that one is. I mean, I'd say all the way through fifth there is really within striking distance. To be honest with you, all the way through Sweet Pain.
Yeah.
Super Farm. You see how close that one is. 1.5 between the two internationals there, Someday and Red Rock.
They've just been like two heavyweight boxers this season. Now this class is loaded top to bottom because you throw the Andrews' camp in there as well. But that Red Rock and Someday, it just feels like every night at the track you're just watching two heavyweights slug it out against each other. They've put on a really fun story for the fans this year.
Yeah, and one thing that's really cool about the sweeps is it's just select events, at different locations, not necessarily one after the other. But, the sweep points do not mirror the national points.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So, yeah, it's different in most.
This would be a fun. What if Blaze? So you could see Red Rock Someday, Dakota Deer. You could see one of them walking away with the points, the national points championship at the end of the year. But what about Jared Johansson and Blaze of Glory, who is just Mr. Consistent, top 5 every single time? What a fun story that would be for him to walk away as your summer sweep champion. That would make for, because he's sitting right there in third place by, what is that, 6 points out.
6 points.
That's due. That'd make for a neat story. That guy just hangs on and never really goes away. I want to see him get his first win on the season. I mean, he is just another one that is due so bad. So
six points is nothing, in 3 hooks here coming up. So
that could make for a fun one right there.
Cornhusker Cadillac, he got his first win over the weekend. Of course, it wasn't in the sweep, but we know that tractor is running where it usually does now, and it has a chance as well. He's not that far behind. Of course, Dakota Deer, you never can count that tractor.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anything, so.
Yeah.
Super Mod 2-wheel drives. Look at that one.
Texas Bullseye. The Bullseye. Okay, that surprises me. If I would have picked one of those out of the Bullwhip Motorsports camp, that's not the one I thought I'd be looking at. Buffalo's Chips, you're not surprised. So was Wayne. Wayne must have been on that sweep points then is what I'm going to guess out of this. So that picked up a huge win in Wayne that propelled him up there.
Yeah, but I mean, look all the way back to High Cotton here. You're 7.5 points. They're hooking at the Iowa State Fair, 2 hooks at Wisner. That could all change. I mean, within those top 5.
Well, we say it all the time when you get out on these big road trip weeks. What the points look like on a Tuesday might not even closely resemble that on a Saturday. A lot happens on these weeks that we're into right now.
Now, limited pro stock.
A bit more of a 2-horse race, but it's a close 2 horses.
Yeah, Dream On and the Mean Farmer. Of course, that limited pro stock schedule, you could see they hook at the Iowa State Fair, but not at Wisner. So they'll hook one time at the Iowa State Fair. Then after Labor Day, they hook in Unionville the Friday after.
I like what they did here with Mercer because this added a really unique wrinkle. Mercer was one of those where it might have been like a regional hook, but also a summer sweep hook at the same time. So that forced some guys to sit down and think about it and debate how they were going to play that. And so just another one of those fun stories in the story.
Same deal with Mobile for light limited pro. Yeah, that was a regional hook. Holganix Midwest sweep hook. Pro stock 4x4. Look at there. See, there's one that doesn't matter.
Hey, now, just how often do you see Bipolar not sitting in the first place in points in something? So Marty Selman and Loretta Selman got to be feeling pretty good about that right now.
Well, I'll tell you, last year Troublemaker was when Bipolar first came out last year with the new chassis. He wasn't at the top of the ladder for the first 6 shows or so. And Troublemaker was in the lead, but once he got it together, he went on an absolute tear, won 12 of 21 hooks last year.
Yeah.
Now, Troublemaker
was Troublemaker the one that found the. Oh, I keep talking. Go ahead, Ron.
The year before the Rat Trap, actually, it was pretty close battle between Rat Trap and Bipolar. right down to the end the year before that.
So it happens, is what you're saying. He's got a claw and scratch. Yeah. Now, was it the troublemaker, the one that made some trouble for itself in Mound City, if I remember right?
No, that was Nathan Breheim breaking loose. That ended up with the back end up on a sled.
I'll tell you, it didn't break loose, and he might have wished that he would have broken loose there for a little bit. You ever seen anything like that? That was one of the more interesting. That was one of the more interesting positions I've seen a pulling vehicle end their run in.
Yeah, you've seen that happen, in the 4-wheel drive classes specifically, because the rear end is so light, and something did lock up, and I haven't heard if it was actually the engine or just something in the drivetrain, but something locked up in order to stop the truck and cause the back of it to kick up in the air like that.
No.
The sled got up on it and busted the back glass. I don't know if his head hit the back glass or something twisted the cab up, but shattered the back glass on it. But you can see the points in that Pro Stock 4x4 class. Light Supers, never enough, kind of creeping up on Boy there.
They are very pleased with the learning. That every time I talk to Alan Omer, he says it's just a learning experience, and we just walk away every single week with more knowledge in our back pocket. And he has so much confidence. When you speak with him, you just feel like the next pull, this thing's just going to put it all together. So that they're fun to watch because of his positivity, and it's going to get figured out on the track. They build every week a little bit more.
And if you go look at the national series, Mike,
I'll pull it up right now.
Their Outlaw pulling series. Look at Light Superstock, and you'll see how it does not mirror.
No, yeah. So he's
a difference there.
So never enough's in second place behind the Bull Boys and the Green Lightning, but by quite a bit different amount. So suddenly the summer sweep is going to be what they're going to be putting their eggs in that basket. That's going to be what they're gunning for.
Yeah, Ulmer's 45 points behind Bull Boy in the National Series points, but in the sweep, he's 6 points back.
6 points behind.
Striking distance there.
Yeah.
Light Superstock Ag, Hawkeye Hooker.
Oh, another one that's kind of like the Pro Stock 4-wheel drive trucks. Your mind naturally goes to Corey Schluter and Barn Burner. Well, Barn Burner's all the way back there in 4th.
Well, there's one reason for that. You go back and you see what happened to him at Lee, Nebraska. You were there.
Yeah, where the transmission grenaded.
And that's and I think that series went to Pawnee City, the Light Super Ags, and he wasn't there. No, not Pawnee City.
No, it was Warrensburg. They were in Warrensburg because he was bummed out because that's one of the closest. That's almost as close as he gets to a hometown pull. Yeah, and he wasn't able to pull in Warrensburg. Yeah.
Yep,
so that is super interesting.
So you look at under construction where he's at. He's having a good year.
And he's the second half of his season, I think he's got to be really pleased with. That's another one who I feel is driving with a lot of confidence right now when the stars are starting to align. The Hawkeye Hooker, you got to tip your hat, though, too. He's 8 points out of the National Series, and he's leading the summer sweep after what was it, the first? Did he pop the front end off 3 pulls in a row? Didn't he start the year off?
Yeah, three times.
Losing a front wheel 3 times in a row. And he fought that last year, and we all kind of thought, oh, man, such a hard runner, but same song and dance. But ever since he got that balance or whatever figured out, he's been as close to perfect as he wants that tractor to be. So Jeremy Paulson really putting the pieces together nicely as well.
And never mind that graphic picture in the background, Mike.
With where you've got the truck. Beautifully done.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it until you called attention.
I had to point out my shortcomings there. I just realized that was on there like that. But.
Ron Stone, he's human like the rest of us, folks.
Yeah. Speaking of close ones, look at this one. Pro Stock.
Oh yeah. Well, those two are those two are just fun to watch. Those guys are so good.
But look who's peaking here. Look who is peaking right now. Wampus Cat. Look how good he's doing.
Well, what is he? He's won the past 2 Friday nights or something like that. He's picked up back-to-back weekend wins or top 2 finishes or something. Yeah. So he's 2 Friday night wins in a row. He's doing really, really well at the moment.
So he's 3 points back. So that's a 3-way battle right there. and that's a tight one right there in pro stock.
And on their national points, you've got the same 3. It's not quite as close. It's still fairly close. That class is going to be fun to see how that shakes down before the year is over.
And they'll have 3 more hooks. Wisner next week, 2 hooks, and Unionville. So that's going to be fun to watch.
I got the scoop on. So everyone all year talks about Kyle Karsten's color on his tractor. And they say, well, is it black? Is it black? And then it goes down the track and they're like, oh, no, it's green. Ron, I got the official name of the paint on that.
I got it too, buddy. I got it.
Tell the audience, because what is the official name of that color?
Organic Candy Green.
Organic Candy Green. I went and wrote that one down. I said, that's going in the announcer notes. Or how cool. Organic. So we got Maserati Blue in one of our classes and Organic Candy Green. The only difference is Ron was Organic Candy Green, a factory color option at the John Deere plant.
I don't think so.
Oh, man.
We'll hit some of our comments here from our viewers. Case Conover, regular watcher here, chiming in from Lytle, Texas. Thanks for watching, Case. Robert Miner. He wants to know where some of the pullers get the names for their pulling vehicles. Sometimes it's something simple. Sometimes it's a long story. And sometimes it's one we can't tell on the air, Robert.
No, it's every last combination of stories you could ever go ask them. Pullers love to be talked to. Pits are open. They love to answer that question. That's their least favorite question to answer is how much does it cost? Probably their favorite question to answer is how'd you come up with the name?
Well, especially when the wife is standing right there beside them. They don't like
sometimes that's not when they want to answer it.
And the question about the money, how much it costs.
Oh, yeah. Well, and as you've always pointed out, the nothing, honey, maybe sometimes those overlap, when it comes to the names and parts.
Our buddy photographer Mark J. Ham watching tonight evening. I think he's speaking to what you were talking about with the Hawkeye hooker. The front end is for loading and unloading.
Yep.
So pro stocks. Look at that close battle, and they've got 3 hooks left there. Going to get interesting here, and
that's
what
a fun class.
Oh yeah. And what I'm hearing, Mike, is potentially the goal, and I think it's attainable. And they're thinking it's attainable. Holganix Midwest is talking about, adding some events and adding some money. They're bold enough as to say they may double the money for next year.
But I was talking to Todd in Mound City, Kansas, and he says just big plans. We've got big plans. They're so pleased with the Outlaws and the farmers that they're reaching through Holganix are so pleased. That's a match made in heaven. So I can't wait to see what's coming for next year.
Here's the 540 Light Pro update. Rackham and Rugrat Rampage, 0.5 point separating those two. So that'll be a battle down to the wire between those two tractors, I'm sure. Mod 2 wheel drive, we did that one already. Light Limiter Pro, we did that one. I think we're up to date here, Mike. I think we're up to date. So
and they've talked about maybe even adding the 4-wheel drives for the sweep next year as well. I've heard that rumor kicked around a little bit. There's only a few classes that they're not involved with.
A couple of 4-wheel drive pullers are talking up to them. So, basically they, if somebody in the class buys product or buys a certain amount of the product, then they go in and support the class by putting some money up in a sweep. So we may see the mod 4-wheel drives get added. There's a couple other classes that are being kicked around too. So, we might get some more involved, and more money to the pullers is always a goal of mine. I want to get as much money to the pullers as I possibly can. There are stars out there, so we wouldn't be there if it wasn't for them. Speaking of stars and spotlights, Mike, who do you have to spotlight this week?
This is a fun one. This is one of those people. I've met so many individuals this year over the summer, but this is one of those I have really enjoyed speaking with this gentleman and getting to know him. Ron, entertain the crowd for a minute. The video we have on this one is too big to load into StreamYard, so I have to pull it up from my email and I'll screen share. Gotcha. But I will get it rolling here in just a second.
Can we throw the picture up there? You've got the hero card. We can throw that up there.
Yeah, go ahead and throw the hero card up there if you don't mind, and I'll get this video ready to go.
There we go.
And
2022 champ right there. The Buffalo's Chips, Richard
Yeah,
Morris.
Richard Morris. So when the smoke clears, the outlaw that you're looking at is Richard Morris. Just wonderful individual. You know, I've really enjoyed talking to him, and he's invited me over to his trailer several times and has a unique setup on his truck. So
You got to love the headers on this truck. It has its own unique sound. It's different from any other two-wheel drive out there. And that goes without mentioning the turbocharged trucks that we see from time to time. But look at the crowd up here. These are the smart folks up here. Look at they're plugging their ears. You got a few over that's like they might either have earplugs in or they're just like, the heck with it. I didn't need to hear anyway. But that truck is loud. And if you're ever like say at Unionville up in that crow's nest and you're peeking over the edge and the Buffalo's Chips goes by, it'll blow your hat right off your head, Mike.
Well, Wayne was kind of that way. I noticed too, where it felt like they were raining on us. All right. So it's not, guys, I do apologize. I couldn't upload this into StreamYard because it's a little bit bigger than some of ours, but I will make this full screen and we'll play his highlight video for you right now. Yeah, so Richard Morris, our featured driver for this evening. Ron, is there anybody less afraid to point it skyward than him? He gets that front end just aggressively high every time.
He's one of those guys that there are a few guys like this out there. Scott Bracken, he pulls mostly with Missouri State, has a mod tractor.
Yeah.
Has the same driving style as Richard. Like once that right hand goes completely forward, it never comes back until the truck stops, regardless if he's lost pieces or if it's on fire. Hand stays forward as long as the truck is moving up the track.
That's a perfect way to describe it. Yeah, it's he puts on a show, and like you said, with those headers and with that Minor Brothers Racing Kester tuned engine. Look out, so he knows how to get done. So here's his bio sent to me. He's my first driver to submit his biography completely handwritten. He walked up to a pull old school and handed me a piece of paper. Drivers, there's no wrong way to do this. If you want to be featured on When the Smoke Clears, we'll take it any which way. So here are some of the notes that Richard and Tammy sat down and came up with. So your featured puller on When the Smoke Clears is Richard Morris, drives a vehicle he calls Buffalo's Chips, which, back to that naming, I just think that's one of the best outlaw names out there for a two-wheel drive Jeep-style truck. That just fits. I think that's awesome. And he pulls the super modified two-wheel drive trucks. It's a 1946 Jeep. I never knew the year on it, but it's a 1946. What were you saying, Ron?
Willys. Yep.
Yeah, 40. The Willys, which now were they was the Willys what they did after the GPs, the general purpose?
Well, I think Willys is who manufactured the Jeep. So
okay, I knew there was one, and it was made by like AMC or something like that. I didn't, because the Jeep started as the general purpose with the GP that got the nickname Jeep.
They were made by Willys Overland. Willys Overland, I think, company is what they were called. Yep.
Yeah, in World War II, and then came home and kind of started taking off after that. So we see there's a couple Jeep-inspired two-wheelers out there over the years. This one's one of the harder running ones. He says
we'll see Jeepers Creepers at the Iowa State Fair too.
At the Warshkow, is that how you say his name?
Yep.
Yeah, Warshkow. He's got the Jeepers Creepers. He pulled us up in Sac City earlier this year. Richard says he's been pulling for 32 years, and his most memorable hook was burning it in on the other end of the track in Rock Valley. He said the wildest ride he ever took was in Lincoln, Nebraska in 2003, where he got a free ambulance ride to the hospital. So I'm not sure what happened there, but
how was it free? Ambulance rides are not free.
So that's what I wondered at, because I have heard, there was no upfront deposit, but either way, he got a taxi ride to the local hospital. So something got a little squirrely in 2003 in Lincoln.
Yeah, ambulance rides are not free.
No, that's what I've been told.
Yeah. But one cool thing about this truck too, Mike, is it's all steel. That's not fiberglass.
No, so this is your true, what I like when they call truck fans door slammers. I always say, well, to me, a door slammer is a metal body style truck. This one's truly that. And he'll put it back together too. He blew a supercharger off it right around this time last year. I think he blew a supercharger off at the Iowa State Fair, and he was back pulling again he might have missed Wisner, but he was back in Unionville. So he drives it like he stole it and owns it now.
Good timing on the piece, because he's leading the points right now, 6 points over Donald Nelson, and he's in second place in the sweep. So he's having a good year. He is,
and just good all around people too. I mean, Richard's one of those cornerstone pullers for the Outlaws. His points championship, I guess he's only got one, unless he was saying this was his most recent, but he was your 2022 points champion. So that's what we have for that. Says best pulling advice simply is keep trying. You'll get there. His pulling goals, he wants to just make good, clean, fun runs. But then he went a little deeper on that question, and he said placing in Louisville. That would be a big goal of his too, would be to be in the top 3 at Louisville. I think that's a great way to answer that question.
Honesty. Yeah.
Yep. Best part about being an outlaw, he says, helmets on when we're competitors, helmets off, we're family.
Yeah.
I hear that. I mean, I didn't without sounding, overridden or corny or whatever, we hear that all the time, the outlaw family. And going into my rookie season, I was kind of like, yeah, I bet every association says that or everything. It's a real thing, Ron. Like after being around this and the pullers and everyone, whether you're a tech official or a cameraman or a puller or anything, they do consider themselves family, and it's a great environment to be a part of. So he's another one that pays homage to that. And he says, message to the fans, work hard, play harder, live and love like it's your last day. So a lot of, salt of the earth answers from Richard Morris, a lot of transparency and honesty. And when the smoke clears, you'll see Buffalo's chips.
And that thing is a crowd favorite too, Mike. That old Willys truck. Yeah. People love to see the unique. In a time when a lot of the pullers are going to the most modern fiberglass body they can get, or the T-buckets, to see those old unique bodies, still out there, and that one even being still a steel body is pretty cool. Yeah. And he's still competitive with it. I mean, Lord, he's leading the points right now, second in the sweep. When everybody's that nth degree, they're trying to figure, the perfect balance, the most power, the best drivetrain, so you're going to go fiberglass, you want to be light, so you can put all your weight where you want your weight, and he's still getting it done with a steel body, and that's
reminds me, it's the modern day Orange Blossom Special, because it just always points that front end so high. It's got that true cantilevered, front end where he's diving it down. It's a fan favorite, but a lot of times you get the fan favorite, don't always back him up with the competition. He's getting it done on both sides. He's winning and entertaining everybody at the trailer at the same time. So
and Richard's kind of the resident welder on staff for Outlaws too. Somebody needs something welded. He has welder will travel. It's always there in the trailer. And
I've also heard he is so we kind of have the king track builder out there. With Kevin Bauer, but I've kind of learned that he's like the vice king. He's kind of the right-hand man. I hear that Richard really understands a lot about how to bring a pulling track together as well. So neat dude, neat truck.
Yep. Good piece, Mike. Awesome. So we went a little over tonight. Can we expect to see you on green flags and tight chains?
Green flags and tight chains right here in the middle of pulling season is backpedaling a little bit just because the social media content, in the off season, there's a lot of time to get the hypotheticals and the interactive questions. As you kind of see on these shows right now, it's points championships, it's promoters. So green flags and tight chains here for a little bit is going to backpedal, but you'll see us hitting hard a lot, here within the next month or so, when we start saying, who do you think's going to be in Louisville? And, what rumors have you heard? And there's a lot of that to chew on. So you won't see that tonight, but, we're all in on what's right in front of us on the track right now.
So, you can see, just talking, there's so much pulling information that we put out tonight, and we probably barely just scratched the surface of what happened this past week and what we could potentially talk about. But we're 63 minutes into the show, or 73 minutes into the show here. And this fall, this winter, we'll have more time to talk about all the things,
the essence of green flags and tight chains is the social media, to give a voice to all of the the interactive content. Well, right now the content, it's live, it's happening on the track and everything. So to do everything justice and to make that show look good, I'm going to wait until there's more social media hypotheticals to chew on.
There you go. I'm just kind of looking at the app here. Once again, reminder to the pullers before we get out of here. If you're going to any of the pulls this weekend or next week, it's going to cover these pulls: Weeping Water, Nebraska, West Point, Nebraska, De Leon, Texas, Washington, Missouri, the Iowa State Fair, or Wisner. All those entries are open on the app. It's super easy. Mike, hold your app up there.
I'll do the whole thing. Yep.
Go back.
So,
go to events,
Outlaw,
national,
events.
national. Click on events.
Let's say Weeping Water. You want to go to Weeping Water.
Now wait. Yeah, there you go. That's where it kind of throws people for a loop sometimes, Mike, is they don't scroll down on that page.
Yeah, because you'll see. Now, also to all you people out there, driver entry, because I ran into this. I won't name any names, but someone I was traveling with this weekend really got very confused with this. Driver entry does not mean, because right here we have your directions, tap for directions. Driver entry does not mean this is where the pit gates entrance is. This is not where drivers are entering the grounds. So drivers, when you see this, this is how you register, and vice versa. If you're looking for directions to the track and you're trying to find the pits, driver entry does not mean where you drive into the track. So there might have been some frustrated cuss words spoken in the motorhome when we couldn't find the entrance to the pit. Well, it says driver entry. Well, that's not on the app. That's not what that means. But that's neither here nor there.
And you don't have to be a member to enter online. Once you click driver entry, it asks you if you're a member or not. So we encourage non-members to enter on the app. But also don't forget, you still have to go check in and pay your entry fees when you get there. If you don't, the app will automatically drop you an hour before the pull. So you got to go see the secretary, pay your entry fee, and you sign your insurance forms, your insurance waivers. So don't forget to do that. Once you sign up on the app, it doesn't mean you're free and clear to just show up and not check in, because it will drop you from the lineup before.
And vice versa. Don't sit there and say, well, we got ball game. We might not pull. We might not pull this weekend. So Ron, I might not pull this weekend. So I'm not going to enter on the app. I'll just wait until time to decide. Go ahead and just enter.
Absolutely.
And then if you haven't, went up and signed in by an hour before, it'll automatically kick you out. No harm, no foul, no problem. So go ahead always, or at least that's how it's been explained to me, Ron, as they say, go ahead. Yep. And if you even have a 1% inkling that you might come pull, go ahead and register ahead of time. And then you don't have to do anything. If you don't show up, then boop, it kicks you out.
And the main reason we did that was to help the pullers out a little bit, and also for the fans. There are a lot of pulling fans out there in Outlaw Nation that want to see their favorite puller's name on that roster.
100%. 100%.
I've received messages this year and last year about this, where somebody's favorite puller hadn't signed up, and it's Wednesday before their Friday hook in, say, Ravenna. Well, how come Richard Morris hadn't signed up? He's not coming. Why isn't he coming? And it's like they want to know their favorite pullers are going to be there, so they look at the app more than probably the pullers do.
Oh yeah. No, I when I was only a fan on this side of things, this was the single biggest aspect that really got me hooked into watching Outlaw, was the ability to, it took pulling to the next level so much more efficiently from a fan's perspective. And when you can sit there and be like, I don't know, do I want to go to Washington this weekend? Oh man, look at this. Like Ritter, well, I wouldn't say that, he'd be on the other side, but Richard Morris, he is pulling, or, oh wow, Cameron Neves, he's coming from, he's going to come from Texas and come up here. Don't take that out of context. That's not what's happening. But, you can develop those stories, and the fans eat that stuff up. So, throw them a bone and let them, they want to see you. They will travel to see you. You're rock stars to the fans.
So, all right. Great show, Mike. Thank you for coming on. I'll be watching Thursday night, buddy, when you're up in Weeping Water. I'll be getting fired up for Washington this weekend. Of course, big night, Friday night, 3 events going the same night, Leon, Washington, and West Point.
I want you to text me live if I call a sled weight a suitcase weight.
Yeah, I wasn't going to publicize that. I was just trying to help you.
I'm going to have some fun with it before the year's over. The trivia question, we'll go ahead and ask this. How many suitcase weights does it take to make a sled weight? At what point would I have been using the correct verbiage there? But no, when you're watching me on Thursday, you gotta text me and say, now hold on. That's not what that is, bud. So, but yep, Ron, best of luck this weekend as you're coming over to Eastern Missouri. Best of luck to all our Outlaw pullers, as we're going to be all over the Great Plains, the South and the Midwest, both. So pulling's fun, guys. So thanks everybody for watching. Remember, if you can't be there, watch it live on Outlaw Pulling TV. Make sure you download that app to keep track and get real-time results. And also, full pull picks going to be at Weeping Water, West Point, and De Leon. I haven't heard on Washington yet, but I know those three are going to be full pull picks. It's fun to play, and you can't win any money if you don't play. So thanks, everybody, for watching. Mike, thank you for coming on, and we'll see you out there this weekend pulling.